We often hear that nanotechnology is a neutral tool, a pure science, but that claim doesn't survive a hard look at history. It's a comforting idea, for sure. We like to think of our technology as safe, separate from the messy world of human bias and ideology. It feels like if the tool is neutral, then we, the users, are absolved of some responsibility. But that's a myth. Tools don't make decisions. People do, and people carry their ideas, their histories, and their biases forward with them. Technology doesn't magically erase ideology, it amplifies it. A hammer can build a house, or it can tear one down. The hammer doesn't care, the person swinging it does. And the ideas that guide that person's hand are what truly matter. Believing that technology is neutral is a way of avoiding the difficult questions about who we are and what we value. Now, I know connecting nanotechnology and eugenics feels uncomfortable. It's jarring. Nanotechnology feels so futuristic, so clean and precise. We imagine tiny robots cleaning our arteries or building microscopic computers. On the other hand, the word eugenics feels old, dirty, and thoroughly disgraced. It conjures images of a dark past we'd rather forget. So, linking them feels wrong, almost like a category error. But that feeling of discomfort is important. We need to sit with it and ask why it feels so wrong. It's because we separated the shiny promise of the future from the grim realities of the past. But the line between them is not as clear as we think. If you had to boil eugenics down to one core belief, it would be this: humanity is a problem to be solved, something to be optimized, not protected, not accepted as it is, but actively improved. The goal was to engineer a better human population. That core idea, that drive for optimization, survived long after the word eugenics became a stain on history. The logic didn't die. It just changed its name and its methods. It went underground, waiting for new tools. And we have to remember what eugenics really was, in practice. We think of it as pure hatred, but its day-to-day reality was administration. It was charts, metrics, and classifications. It was scientists and doctors making decisions they framed as rational, humane, and necessary for the good of society. It was cruelty laundered through bureaucracy and procedure. This is the danger. When we wrap our biases in the language of science and efficiency, we can justify almost anything. The harm becomes abstract, a statistic on a page, and the human cost gets erased. So what changed? Where does the new technology fit in? The old eugenics worked at the macro level, the level of populations. It was about controlling who could have children, who was sterilized, and who was excluded from society. The methods were crude and very visible. But modern systems work on a much, much smaller scale. We're talking about the cellular, the genetic, the molecular level, and that is precisely where nanotechnology comes in. It offers the tools to intervene at the very building blocks of life. The logic of optimization didn't vanish,